Hello, my name is Aisyah Salsabil, and today I will tell you guys a folklore called ontolu. It is a folklore from Indonesia, specifically Southeast Sulawesi. So, once upon a time, there was a prince who lives in a kingdom on the moon. And the prince was a really handsome and a kind prince, and he has some magic powers where he can change his human form anytime he wants. He really liked to travel around the planets. He really loves traveling. He often goes through travel around the planets from another planet to another. And one day he decided to go to travel to the Earth. Once he arrived there, he completely fell in love with the Earth, and he was so amazed by it. He started to explore the Earth, and then he found an old house and a cage. A chicken cage is like a farm near the old house, and he really wants to live there on the Earth, on that old house and on that chicken cage. He then came to the chicken cage and he saw some chickens and eggs inside it, and he decided to change his form into an egg. He then waited for a moment, and then a moment later the owner of the old house and the farm came back. It was an old lady. She then came into the farm and she was surprised. She found a strangely looked egg. Then she decided to take the egg and take it inside her house. She then put it on the table, on the dining table, and it's full of food around it. And then she go out again to take something. And then the prince changed his form into a human again, and he was really hungry, so he decided to take all the food on the table and ate it by himself, all of it. When he felt super full, he changed his form again into an egg. Then a moment later, the old lady came back again. She was surprised because the food that she has prepared are all gone. It goes on and on for like a month or 2 months, and she had enough. So one day she started to prepare all the food on the dining table, but she put a betel leaf on the side of the food, and she went out again. And the prince once again changed his human form changed into his human form, and then he started to eat all the food again, and he also ate the betel leaves. So a betel leaf is anyone who consume it, anyone who eats it, will go sick and will go unconscious. He ate it, so he goes unconscious. A moment later, the old lady came back and was surprised because she saw a strange, handsome young prince laying unconsciously on her house. She then found out that it was the prince who has been stealing all of her food. The prince explained it that he came from the moon, a kingdom on the moon, and he can change his form into a human form or an egg or anything he can. And then the old lady was surprisingly very welcomed. She accepted him and she asked him to live together. The prince was super comfortable with the old lady. He called her his grandma. He was very close to her, and it has been like 4 months or almost half a year that they lived together. And one day, the prince asked the grandma to go to a kingdom where there was a king and who has 6 daughters, and the prince really wants to marry someone. The grandma agreed to the task, and then the grandma go into the kingdom and ask the king. The grandma started to introduce her son to the 6 daughters, and then they asked her what is his name and other else, and the grandma answered with, his name is ontolu. Ontolu means eggs. So the 5 of his daughters started to laugh and they don't want to marry him because his name sounds weird, and they all thought that the prince was ugly like an egg. Surprisingly, the last daughter, she agreed to marry him, and the grandma was super happy, and the prince was also happy when he heard the news. So days later, the prince came to the kingdom, and he was looking for the last daughter, and they were all surprised because the prince was actually a handsome prince, and they were all angry at him and the grandma. So then they threw a wedding party after that, and after the party was over, because the sister was really jealous of them, they started to ask ontolu and his wife to go swimming on the sea and to go fishing on the sea with a boat. Then they agreed to do that, but in the middle of the sea, the sister threw the wedding ring to the sea, and his wife was super sad, and ontolu decided to jump and try to find the ring. When ontolu jumped to the sea, all her sisters row back with the boat and leaves ontolu on the sea. His wife is sad, but she couldn't do anything. Then a moment later, ontolu came back to the kingdom and told the king about what happened. They were also surprised. They were surprised because ontolu was still alive. They were surprised because the reason that ontolu went drowning to the sea is because of the 5 sisters. Ontolu has some magic powers, so then he can easily swim back to the desert. And the king was so mad and angry, and he decided to punish 5 of the sisters. The end.